Hey folks, Rico Rocks 2001 here. I'm doing a comparison between these two model PS2s, the 77001 and this 90001. The bottom one is mine, the top one is my friend's. So, ignore the damage on the case on the memory card for the 77000 model. Pretend that's there, and the flap is there as well. But it still works. I've tested it before, and it works just fine. In fact, all it needed was a cleaning, and I got it working. But other than that, you've got memory card ports, controller ports. You can use PS1 accessories, like the PS1 memory card, and any PS1 accessory that fits in the controller ports, whether it being the ASCII-ware fighting pad or the older PlayStation 1 controllers or the dual analog. They will all work on the PS2 because it has the same controller port as a PlayStation 1. Also, you can use a PS2 controller on a PS1 because the connector is the same. You cannot use a PS2 memory card on a PS1 because the tab system is different. In fact, if you were to look on the back right here, there's an extra bit of plastic on the PS2 memory card that blocks it from inserting in a PlayStation 1. Also, you cannot use a PS2 memory card to save PS1 games. A friend of mine had to learn the hard way, and you can't use a PS1 memory card to save PS2 games. I had to learn the hard way, which is funny. A friend of mine and I have both been in the same boat, just the other way. For me, it was trying to save PS2 games with a PS1 memory card, and my friend, it was the other way around. Weird, don't you think? Other than that, let's get back on the comparison. If you want to check out my comparison between the 79001 to the 75001, I have a video about that. Check the description. But for this, we're going to compare the 77 model, which I didn't have at that time, but now I do, to the 90000, which there are two versions of the 90000. This is the better version where it actually works with free make boots. Both of them have your memory card and your controller ports. You can also use the multi-tap. Both of them say Magic Gate. You cannot use a fat PS2 multi-tap on the slim one. Well, you could modify it and it will work. Although using a slim multi-tap on the fat model, not easy. You would have to do a lot of sanding and breaking the two parts, and it's not worth it. Well, trying to get the slim one to fit on the fat one. You get one. You also have your two USB ports for the iToy and a few other accessories. Both of them have an eject button. It's easier to press on the 70000 model because of the ridge design. The 90000 is a bit more tricky. Both of them are top-loading design. Allow me to demonstrate. As you can see, that one opens like that, and the 77, there you go. Both of them have an infrared receiver for the PlayStation 2 remote, which I do have, by the way. I had this remote since 2012, and it works. Works wonderfully. Both of them have your PlayStation logo where you can rotate if you stand it horizontally. You should get a stand for both of them. They're easier. I don't know if they made stands for the 90000, but I do know that the 70000 you screw it on and it would stand. Never stand a slim PS2 horizontally, well, unless you have it in a nice tight space, because you try opening that, this could wobble and to break something on the inside. Same with this PS2. But other than that, they both work. You also notice that the 70000 has a vent here, while the 90000, well, does have vents, just not in the front. They moved them to the sides. As you can see, there's one vent right here, and then there's another vent right up there. So you may notice some styling differences, as you can tell. They made the 90000 look more streamlined, while the 70000 kept the ridge design, which was based off of the fat PS2. I wish there was a fat model PS2 which had styling off of the 90000. That would have been awesome. That way they could have called it the 100,000 model. Well, hey, can't someone make a joke? Oh, and also on the back here, you may notice some differences. Both of them have a network connector, while the 70012 also had a line connector. They took that off the 75 model. avoid the 7.5 model, I will advise you. If you're after a slim PS2, these two are the one to get. Even the 79000, which I reviewed previously, was also a good one. Both of them have a digital optical out, that's for sound. Both of them have your AV multi-out, so if you have good S-video cables from your PlayStation 1 or component cables from your fat PS2, it will work on these. Here's where things get different. The AC and DC are different. On the 90000, you use a standard cable that plugs in the back. On the 70000 model, you're required to still use the 8.5 volt adapter. So I'll go ahead and get both of them out. We'll start with the 70000's 8.5 volt adapter. It looks something like this. This is the brick that you use to power your PS2. You plug this portion into the back of your PS2, like this. If I can get this, there we go. And then you plug this portion into the back of your 8.5 volt AC adapter. As you can see, you plug this in here. I don't have it plugged in right now, I'm just demonstrating for purposes. While on the 90000 model, you don't need this adapter. You just plug this portion into the back of your system, and then you're ready to go. So there are some pros and cons for both of them if it comes to situations like that. If you lose your cable for your 90000, you find another circle adapter. You can find them pretty cheap at Walmart or Best Buy, and you're good to go. But if you lose the whole AC adapter from your PS2 70000, you'll have to go online and find a replacement one. Maybe tricky, maybe not. I would recommend going for official Sony one. Avoid those cheap Chinese ones. I've heard mixed reviews on them. But other than that, they're practically similar, as you can tell. Now let me show you the insides of both of these PS2s. So let's go ahead and pop the tops off of both of them. Actually, before we get to that, another difference I need to mention, the PS2 logo is different on both of them. On the 70000, it's in the back on the stripe, and on the 90000, it's on the front on the, well, since they're both silver. If they were both the black variation, I will tell you, this stripe would be glossy while the sides would be matte. And on this one, the 90000, on the black one, this would be matte and this would be glossy. Other than that, let's go ahead and take the tops off of both of them. There's no game in either of them, so don't worry about the game being underneath here. I remember a YouTube video where a guy fixed his PS2 laser. Well, he took apart his PS2 and he accidentally left a game in there. Unfortunately, that video is not up there anymore. Who knows what happened to that channel? But other than that, you got almost similarities here. You've got similar heatsink here. The motor that spins the spindle, the connectors down here, while on the other variations it would be to the left or to the right. If you look at the 7.5 or the 7012, it was to the right, while on the 7.9 it's to the left. And well, another thing I need to mention is both of them have the one screw on the controller ports. On the 7.9 models, they took that screw off, for who knows why. Another thing I need to mention is both of them have a similar power board. Hang on. As you can see, you want to be careful with this because the ribbon cable is very delicate. What happened with my 75001 or my 70012, which I no longer have, the ribbon cable, the gold contacts broke off. And for one of the other two, one of those two, as I mentioned, the power button broke off. You want to be careful with that. If your power button breaks off, well, you could try soldering it back on, but it's not going to be easy. Just replace the whole board, then you call it good. I mean, they sell these on eBay for a dime a dozen, or for fairly cheap, so just get a new one. That's what I did when the thing was about to break on another unit, so that's what I have to say. Other than that, yeah, both of them have a similar design, as you can see. This one still needs a bit of cleaning, but Yeah. Also, the watch battery on both of these is underneath the heatsink, and the watch battery design on these models, even the 7.9, is better than the 70012 and the 75001, where it had that little watch battery and little silicone thing and connector. I don't like that design because finding a replacement is kind of challenging, but for these it's easy. Anyway, that's the comparison between the 77001 and the 90001. Before I put the 90001 back together, I'm going to mention the later variations of the PS2 Slim. I will mention this. The power supply is much smaller on the later variation of the 90000. The fan, the connector for the fan is different. It's more like a ribbon cable rather than wires, as you can see. And also, the later ones do not work with FreeMake boots. These earlier ones, I'll show you the date with the 90000 while I put the lid back on. For this 90000, the model, you want to look at the date code. This is 8B. If it's 8C, you may have a working one that's compatible with FreeMake boot. You may not. Try at your own risk. But if it's 8D or later, it's not going to work with FreeMake boot. You would have to put a mod chip in there in order for it to work. So, just thought I'd let you know. The black one I had was from 2010, so obviously it did not work with FreeMake boot. But if I ever get that black one back, which I probably hope I don't, because it does not read PS2 games unless you turn diagnose mode on. So, yeah, there you have it. That's my comparison between the 77001 and the 90001. Go ahead, tell me in the comments, of these two model PS2s, which do you prefer? Thanks for watching. This is RicoRock 1 signing off.